even on the cosmic plane.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's 1 week ago. So we will read it and then I will give you the gist of what he said in the earlier paragraph. Then we will see what he said. So Suki, you can start reading.
Yes, I will read.
Even on the cosmic plane.
Even on the cosmic plane, we are constantly approaching the divine on either of these sides. We may think, feel, and say that God is truth, justice, righteousness, power, love, delight, beauty. We may see him as a universal force or as a universal consciousness, but this is only the abstract way of experience, as we ourselves are not merely a number of qualities or powers or a psychological quantity, but a being, a person who so expresses his nature, so is the divine, a person, a conscious being who thus expresses his nature to us. And we can adore him through different forms of this nature, a God of righteousness, a God of love and mercy, a God of peace and purity. But it is evident that there are other things in the divine nature which we have put outside the form of a personality, in which we are thus worshiping him. The courage of an unflinching spiritual vision and experience can meet him also in more severe or in a terrible forms. None of these are all the divinity. Yet these forms of his personality are real truth of himself, in which he meets us, seems to deal with us, as if the rest had been put away behind him. He is each separately and all together. He is Vishnu, Krishna, Kali. He reveals himself to us in humanity as the Christ personality or the Buddha personality. When you look beyond our first exclusive concentrated vision, we see behind the Vishnu all the personality of Shiva, and behind the Shiva all the personality of Vishnu. He is the Anantaguna, infinite quality, and the infinite divine personality which manifests itself through it. Again, he seems to withdraw into a pure spiritual impersonality, or beyond all idea even of impersonal self, and to justify a spiritualized atheism or agnosticism. He becomes to the mind of man unindefinable, anirdesyam. But out of this unknowable, the conscious being, the divine person, who has manifested himself here, still speaks, "This too is I." Even here, beyond the view of mind, I am he, the Purushottama.
So the chapter is the divine personality. So we have been discussing this for a long time because the first spiritual experience so many of the past is the impersonal aspect of the divine. You get peace, you get some knowledge, you get a sense of freedom, you get a wideness, okay, a sense of vastness and peace. So these things are there, but they are all impersonal. So he's discussing the personality of the divine, which you get through the Bhakti Yoga. So that is the, but Bhakti Yoga, you get the experience of the divine in a very limited way. But if you go beyond level 2 and go to level 3, you get the idea of the divine personality in a, he is limited and yet he is also infinite. He is impersonal as well as the personal. Okay. So that is what Swami is describing here in a different way. Okay. So we read now each sentence and see whether it is clear. Even on the cosmic plane, in other words, when we are at level 1, our normal consciousness, okay, here normal consciousness is there, but we are getting touched of the divine. Okay, so even on the cosmic plane, we are constantly approaching the divine on either of these sides, because there are so many sides. There is a personality and the impersonality. He is also the Saguna, he is also the Nirguna, he is also the Anantaguna, he is everything. Okay? So that's on either of these sides. So you get one aspect of the divine. And Shredler is now explaining how each individual cannot experience the divine fully in all his aspects, but normally you get through one particular aspect. Now, we may think, feel, and say. So, you may think, or you may not think and perceive the divine as a feeling, or you may say without thinking and feeling. So, including all. Yeah? So, it's very interesting. So, he's saying, you may think, feel, or say that God is truth, justice, righteousness, power, love, delight, beauty. Either of these things, depending on your nature. Okay? Suppose you are a very mental type of person, you may experience the divine as truth. Then there is the concept of justice. He is like a king. He is like a judge. He is sitting up there and judging everybody. And if you do wrong, he will punish you. The judge is one who punishes and rewards. Okay? Sets you free. So that is, there is a history of it. There is the Calvin. Okay? He was a priest. Okay? He was actually French, but he was in England. Calvin. Okay? So his concept of the divine is like a judge. Okay? Very, very unattached, no emotion at all. He is judging you very, very from the point of view of your sin and your virtue. That's one concept you can have. Then there is other concept also. Okay? The concept of power. Okay? Justice is a righteousness. Righteousness and justice are related. Okay? Because if your justice, righteousness, you must do the right thing. You can't do the wrong thing. Then there is power, the aspect of power. All these three are a little related. Justice, righteousness, and power. But on the other hand, you may approach the divine by love. Okay? So, many religions say God is love. Okay? But love, delight, and beauty are also three things which go together. Okay? When there is love, there is a delight. And when there is delight, you also start seeing beauty everywhere. This is what happens in the psychic consciousness. Okay? So any of these, you can go to. Power and love and delight, love and delight and beauty, there is a Franciscan nun, not nuns, the monks. Okay, Saint Francis of Assisi in about 1400 something in Italy, he was there and he experienced the divine as love. Okay? He used to find beauty and brotherhood in everything, even in animals. There was a wild wolf that was terrorizing the village, but he was able to approach it as like a brother. He used to call brother wind, brother sun, brother river. Everyone was brother to him. It's a wonderful story of, not story, it's history. Okay? Around 14th century or 15th century in Italy. Saint Francis. So the Franciscan nuns, that's what they approached God through the aspect of love. Okay. Then, and beauty. I continue with the phrase. We may see him as a universal force or as a universal consciousness. If you see him as a universal consciousness, you are a jnani. Okay? That's usually what happens. Okay? You see the aspect of consciousness as Sat. Or universal force, you may see him as universal force. It's the tantrics who see the divine as a force. Okay? And they worship the force aspect. So many different ways you can approach the divine. Very rarely can you approach to all at once. That is very rare. Sri is something unusual. He has experienced the divine in all ways. That's why he says it has to be integral, not only one part of the divine. Okay, so, but this is only the abstract way of experience. As we ourselves are not merely a number of qualities or powers or psychological quantity, but a being. Now he's comparing the human being with the divine, okay, to make you understand. Okay. Like we are a number of qualities. Every human being has got certain qualities, okay, but also he has got certain defects. Exactly in the same way, the defects don't apply to God, but all the qualities do apply to God. And he has given you a list of qualities: truth, justice, righteousness, power, love, delight, beauty. Okay? So just as we are also like that, okay, exactly in the same way, the divine also has got many aspects. And we can approach the divine through any of these one aspect. Why one? Because we are limited. But the moment our limitation goes and we get realization, then other aspects also can open to us. Okay? So, as we ourselves are not merely a number of qualities or powers or a psychological quantity limitation, but a being, a person who so expresses his nature, so is divine, a person. He is not only impersonal, he is also a person, but unlimited, unlike the human being. A conscious being who thus expresses his nature to us. And according to your nature, you will experience one aspect of the divine. And we can adore him through different forms of his nature. A God of righteousness, a God of love and mercy, a God of peace and purity. So all these are different aspects. God of righteousness, as I said, there's a whole, anyone can experience God as righteousness. Normally it's the idea that God is like a king who is judging you. And that's why the phrase is there, he is a very God-fearing man. That means he accepts that God is there and you should not do anything wrong. Of course, this is a very ignorant concept. But the concept of that you should fear God and do the right thing is very, very common in undeveloped natures in humanity. A God of love and mercy, a God of peace and purity. You see very often Muslims on the back of the windscreen, in the car, the rear window, they'll say, God is great, okay? And the Christians say, God is love, okay? So they are all one-sided views. It's not that at all. But they approach through one side. Not only the individual, but even collective religions also do that. They go through only one aspect. Okay? But it is evident that there are other things in the divine nature which we have put aside. The form of personality, which we have put outside the form of personality in which we are thus worshipping him. We are not including all his qualities. The courage of an unflinching spiritual vision and experience can meet him also in more severe or in terrible forms. So, you realize that God can also be Kali. He can also bring the storm on you. He can also bring the tsunami on you. And these are, for us, they are terrible forms. But actually, they are all divine forms which we don't understand. But when we rise in consciousness, we understand the purpose of these terrible forms. Because the divine is constantly creating, but what he's creating is limited. And he has to create newer things which are not limited. So he destroys what he has made and recreates something superior. You can't create something superior unless you destroy what you have already done. It's like a house. A house gets old and you have to destroy the house to be able to build a new one which is better. Okay? He is doing that all the time. That's why there is construction and destruction of the divine. Constantly in the physical world, this is happening. Even at an individual level. Okay? Your nature is limited, so he destroys the human nature. That's a process of yoga, and then you get a new nature. Okay, all the two are always connected: destruction and construction. None of these are all the divinity. They are all only aspects. Yet these forms of his personality are real truths of himself, in which he meets us and seems to deal with us. It doesn't matter if it's only one aspect, because that's also part of the divine. And we mustn't think that this one part of the divine is limited, because his love can be infinite, his sense of justice can be infinite, his power can be infinite. So each of these aspects you will feel wonderful. Okay? You will enjoy very much, and you will think that this is the ultimate truth. It's not the ultimate truth, but that's the experience you can get. You will feel that it is infinite. Okay, so none of these are all the divinity, yet these forms of his personality are real truths of himself in which he meets us and seems to deal with us, as if the rest had been put away behind him. Because the divine never imposes anything on you. He will see what you are capable of in your nature and approach you according to your understanding of it. Okay? That's why only one aspect. He is each separately and all together. The divine is everything. And so it is now very I'm making you understand this through images. He is Vishnu. Vishnu is the aspect of peace and preservation. Krishna, the aspect of love and beauty. And love, beauty, and what's the other one? Delight. Okay. Kali, the aspect of righteousness and destruction. He reveals himself to us in humanity as a Christ, in Christ's personality. So, Christ is the love and compassion. So, or the Buddha personality. He can reveal himself in the physical world as these aspects, different aspects. Compassion, personality, understanding, all these things he can express himself in the world. When we look beyond our first exclusively concentrated vision, that means only one aspect, we see behind Vishnu all the personality of Shiva, and behind Shiva all the personality of Vishnu. So not only can he destroy, but he can also help and construct. Okay? All the aspects are there, but we see only one aspect because of our limitation. He is Anantaguna. He is only his character, all the characteristics possible to humanity. In the physical world, he has all those things. Infinite quality and infinite divine personality, which manifests itself through it, through the personality. Again, he seems to withdraw into a pure spiritual impersonality, or beyond all idea, even of impersonal self, and to justify a spiritualized atheism or agnosticism. What Sridhar is saying is, at the cosmic level, which he began the whole paragraph with, even on the cosmic plane, we approach the divine in any one aspect. But when we go beyond that cosmic plane and go into the second level of the spiritual planes, then you see him as impersonal, okay, mainly. And beyond all idea, even of impersonal self, third level, you can go to. And then you realize that if the divine is impersonal, it leads itself to atheism. But it's a spiritualized atheism. In other words, there's a difference between normal atheism, where you don't believe that God exists, but a spiritualized atheism is God has no particular form. He is formless. That's a spiritualized atheism or agnosticism. You cannot know God in form, but you can experience the formlessness of God. That's what Sridhar said. But out of this unknowable, the conscious being, the divine person who has manifested himself here, still speaks. He is referring back to the Gita. Okay? This too is I. This too is why I work in the physical world, the limitations. Even here, beyond the view of mind, I am he, the first Purushottama. The Purushottama is the last, the highest, the third level. Okay? That's what he's saying in the life. So we can be experienced in many, many ways. You can be experienced according to your own ideas, mental ideas, or you can experience him at the spiritual level in any aspect. Mostly it's the impersonal aspect. You go to the third level, then you will be experiencing the personality and the impersonality both. That's what he said. Okay. So we have got about 20 minutes. We can read the next paragraph. That's the last. Okay. So we'll read it. And today, Archana has just sent a message saying that she can't join today. Will not be joining class today. Sorry. So we'll read the last one. Kiran, have you come back to Nashik or you are still in Pune?
I can read if you want.
Okay. Okay. Read. Yasmin, read. For beyond the divisions.
For beyond the divisions and contradictions of the intellect, there is another light, and there the vision of a truth reveals itself, which we may thus try to express to ourselves intellectually. There all is one of all these truths, for there each is present and justified in all the rest. In that light, our spiritual experience becomes united and integralized. No least hair's breadth of real division is left. No shade of superiority and inferiority remains between the seeking of the impersonal and the adoration of the divine personality, between the way of knowledge and the way of devotion.
Very small para is saying that beyond level 1 and level 2, there is a level 3 where you don't see only certain aspects, but you see all the aspects integralized. That's what he's saying. He's a level 3. Okay? So, for beyond the divisions and contradictions of the intellect, there is another light, and the vision of a truth reveals itself, which we may thus try to express it to ourselves intellectually. There, all is one truth of all these truths. So, one truth of all these truths. These truths are Sat, Chit, Shakti, Ananda separately, but all these three get absolutely become one at the highest level, level 3. That's supramental. But the supramental, you need not necessarily reach it, okay? But you can get glimpses of the supermind even on the lower planes. Okay? That we have to, you remember that. There, the vision of a truth reveals itself, which we may thus try to express to ourselves intellectually. There, all is one truth of all these truths, but there, each is present and justified in all the rest. In other words, at our intellectual level, the experience of the divine being calm and cool and a dispenser of justice, okay, is not justified. But when you go to the higher level, you see that, oh, everything has got a justification. Only we did not understand it in the right way. Okay? That's what he said. There, all is one truth of all these truths. And there, each is present and justified in all the rest. Or there is no contradiction anymore between love and justice. There is no contradiction there at that level. In that light, our spiritual experience becomes united and integralized. In other words, all the aspects of the divine you see, and they are not contradictory. You understand perfectly how they all mesh and become one. They mix and become one. No least hair's breadth of real division is left. Absolutely no division at all. No shade of superiority and inferiority remains between the seeking of the impersonal and the adoration of the divine personality, between the way of knowledge and the way of devotion. Okay? Because people who have knowledge, Jnana Yoga, they think that Jnana Yoga is superior to Bhakti Yoga. But simply saying it's not like that at all. If you go to the third level, then everything is equal. No up and down, no less and more. Normally, the Jnana is supposed to be superior to love. Because for love, you need two, whereas for knowledge, you become one with the divine. So the idea that it is superior is there. But Srebdo does not agree with that, because he says that what love and devotion has, the path of knowledge does not have. It's a dry path, and in the emotional realization of the divine as love and beauty and joy, there is absolutely a mystery of the divine. It's far superior in that. So that completes the, and we are nearly at 8:30, and since some of them are not there, and also today I have to go to for the darshan. So can we stop here today and we'll continue this next Friday, the delight of the divine?
Yes, Rangada.
Yeah, because it's a new chapter, we can start it next time. Okay?
Okay, merci beaucoup.
Okay. So,
Thank you, Rangada.
I didn't
Thank you, Dada. Thank you.
Good morning, Kiran.
Okay, Rangada.